Ladies and gentlemen, Khawateen o Hazrat, welcome to Pressing Matters, Pakistan's #1 football podcast. Today, I have a very, very special guest with me. But before I introduce him to you, I just want to say please subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us on social media, subscribe to the channel, and keep supporting us so we keep putting out all the football and MMA content for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to tell you that our guest today plays for Sumgayit FK. I hope I pronounced that right, in the Azerbaijan Premier League. He is also a winner of the Under-19 European Championships with England, scoring a goal in the final. Is the first player of Asian heritage to captain an English football side, having done so at under-16, under-17, and under-19 levels. He's an Aston Villa Academy product. He has also played for clubs like Nacional and Vitória SC in Portugal. Again, sorry for the pronunciation. And last but not least, he is the centre back for the Pakistan football team. He is Easah Suliman. Easah, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to speak with you.
No, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and let's go right back to the start. I think a good place to understand someone's love for football and how they got to the place where they are today is their early life and how they developed a love for football. Whoever's played the game had this moment or this mixture of little moments that you knew that this is where I fell in love with the game. When was that for you?
I think naturally I'm from quite a sporting family. My father plays cricket. He's 53. He's played cricket all his life, and he still plays now. My uncles they play football. They had their own football team on the weekends. So I think growing up I was always around sports. I always played cricket. Always played football. I think football was always my main passion. But obviously, when you're younger, you can sort of play cricket in the summer and then up until 14, 15 years old. And it was never really a decision for me to make because it was always football. But yeah.
Were you much better at it than cricket, or did you just like it more?
Yeah, I just liked it more, to be honest. I was still decent at cricket as well. I was playing for Warwickshire under 14s, and then obviously I went in full time at Aston Villa. So it was always football for me.
Yeah, I also grew up in a sporting household. My dad also played football and cricket. Initially, he put me towards cricket, but then I think the 2006 World Cup was the moment where Zidane's headbutt and everything. I was just sold on it, and yeah, that's when I switched to football as well. I don't know, it happened a long time ago. But you mentioned Aston Villa, right? But again, I my research is based on the internet and Wikipedia, but reportedly there was interest from Liverpool and Bayern Munich, if I'm not wrong, or at least that's what it says on the internet. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, when I was like sort of 14, 15, there was some interest from a couple of other clubs. Liverpool, yeah, one of them, and sort of other clubs like that. But I didn't really pay too much attention because I was always at Villa. I was always progressing through at Villa. So I think at that age, you're not really concentrating on any of that.
Right.
So
Right.
I was just sort of concentrating on getting my youth contract at Villa and progressing there.
And how did Aston Villa happen? How did you sign, and join the academy, and how did that come about?
So I was just playing for a local team, 7 and 8 years old, and then I got scouted for Aston Villa when I was 8, halfway through under 8s, under 9 season, and then I've just assigned at under 9s, and then I've been playing until I was 21.
Oh wow. And so you've been through all the age groups. What was your routine like? What was it like being a youth player at Aston Villa?
It was very good. We were sort of training 3 times a week, playing games on the weekend. But yeah, alhamdulillah for my parents who dedicated all that time to take me to training. My mom making sure everything was ready for me after school, food, kit, everything, and then my dad sacrificing all that time to take me to training, to take me to games. And if he couldn't do it some days, then my uncles would step in. So it was a lot of people that helped me in that way. And I think it was good while I was growing up. I didn't really experience that sort of hanging around the roads and stuff like that after school because I always had training. So I had to get back straight away, eat a bit of food quickly and then get to training because training was usually in the evenings. So now looking back on that, I think it was much more than just the football. I developed in a lot of other ways.
Yeah, and that's very important thing because I was talking to Otis about what it takes to be a pro footballer or a pro in anything. And one of the things we were talking about, but just to give context to people, like pro footballers are such a small minority of the people that start playing football that it's insane. It's like more than 99% of those who join an academy like age 8 or 9 do not make it as a pro. Like that's something that I read up. That is insane. And the part of why it's such a small number is precisely because of what it takes in your youth years to become a pro. Like you said, it's so natural for you to want to hang around with your friends after school. The allure of, just social activities as you're growing up. That's insane. But you said that you realize it developed you in a lot of ways now, and I'm sure it has. But back then, was there something inside you that was like, man, I wish I could, my friends are going out and my friends are hanging around, but I have to like stay dedicated and follow this routine. Was there ever a part of you that was like, man, I wish I could just have a normal youth, I guess?
To be honest, no. I always it was what I wanted to do. I was playing football. I was going to training. I was going to Aston Villa. I think all the boys in my class would want to be doing that, and so I never really seen it as okay, I'm sacrificing anything or I need to be dedicated or any of that. It was sort of all right. This is what I want to do. I'm passionate about it, so it was just enjoying it. I think now that I'm getting older and when you're especially now playing abroad and stuff, I feel it a little bit more that sort of sacrifice, as in okay, you're missing weddings and you're missing like Eid and stuff like that. Sometimes you're alone and then that's when you feel that bit of sacrifice, but then you soon remember like the stat that you're talking about, that the small percentage of people who are actually professionals. So then you quickly like get over it and realize how fortunate you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there ever because obviously, like for people who might not know, you sign for academies, as a youth product, and then I think at 16 you get a scholarship or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
and then that's for a few years, and then you sort of become a pro or something. You sign your pro contract. Was there ever a point during that whole journey till 21 where you feared that, maybe you wouldn't reach pro or something along those lines, that what if that doesn't happen? Did that ever kick in?
Uh, you said, like for example, in my situation, I signed my pro contract at 17, which you can do in England. But it wasn't at that point that I felt like I was a pro because I was still playing under 18s, under 21s, under 23s. It was more when I moved into like first team football that then I felt like a pro. It wasn't just because I've signed a professional contract that I was a pro. Um, so I think that sort of period when I transitioned into the first team game, which was around, I went on a couple of loans at Aston Villa, and then sort of moving to Portugal. That's when I started to feel like a pro. And then you have them doubts when you're not playing and you're not getting in the team, but you just have to you keep going and trying to find a way and improve and get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And back to Aston Villa now, like the academy years. Was there exposure to the senior squad? Like, because I asked Otis this as well, and he said there were some moments where the youth team would have some sort of interaction, like limited exposure to players like Rio Ferdinand or Sir Alex Ferguson. Was that the case there? And which managers or which time period are we talking? Is it Steve Bruce when he was at Villa? Like, what time are we talking? Like before that, after that? Like what?
So when I first signed, around 8, 9, 10, it was around like the Martin O'Neill time.
The good times when Villa finished sixth, I think, right?
Yeah, fourth, fifth,
Yeah.
sixth. But then obviously they had so many managers through then. I think when I was sort of in and around the first team was, yeah, around that Steve Bruce time. Before that, Tim Sherwood and stuff like that. I made my debut with Steve Bruce in the cup against Wigan. But yeah, that exposure, you had that, I think, when you go in full time. So when you turn 16 and you sign the scholarship and then you're full time in the club, you do sort of have interactions, small interactions. So there was a rule at Villa that we clean the first team players' boots. So the youth scholars would clean their boots. And I remember when Roy Keane was assistant there, I had to clean his boots, so I had to make sure I had the polish out, and they were really clean. So there was sort of that exposure a little bit, and then obviously when you had the chance to train with them and stuff like that.
Do you have any fun Roy Keane stories or some other stories? Because I think people would love to hear them.
Yeah, it's not really a story. It's just that was my everyone had players, and for some reason I was given the manager and the assistant manager, and uh, and yes,
Did he
obviously.
ever complain? Did he ever complain to you about?
No, I only bumped into him once, and then he sort of found out that I was cleaning his boots, but he didn't complain. But I just had to make sure that I was doing it properly.
On the right side of the guy. I mean, he's a scary person. But yeah. Anyway, at the same time, the English youth level sort of thing was happening as well, right? So how does that come about? Like, how does the English youth setup sort of pick the players, or do they come to academies and like pick the best players, or how does that work?
I think they're always watching games. So it started for me at under 16s. We had it was the Victory Shield. I don't think they have it anymore, but that's when I made my debut. I was 14 under 15s, and I got selected in that team. So I think they're obviously watching games and they select players. So for me that journey started when I was 14, 15, with my first selection. And then yeah, it carried on all the way through. I played up until under 20s. We had the chance to play. I had the chance to play in two Euros, under 17 and under 19s, and then a world under 17 World Cup as well. So I had a lot of great experiences with England, and obviously playing with all the best players in the country. So it was really good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you got that first call up, was there like sort of something in your mind, or did you think that, now I have a good shot of becoming pro? Was it like that sort of thing where you were like, well, I must be good, good enough if I'm being called up to represent England? Or was it still like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully, if I stick to the process, I will end up somewhere good.
Yeah, that was it. I think just taking it as it came, because when you're in it, you're not really thinking about all of that. Okay, I'm going to become pro and all of this. You're in the moment. Like I was
But
playing for.
it's a big deal, man. It's like first Asian like player of Asian
Yeah,
heritage to captain and all that stuff. I'm sure you know how like Pakistani households are. I'm sure it was a big deal at home, and rightly so. And how was that for you, like psychologically, to make sure you had the blinders on?
uh, probably from family. They're obviously proud and stuff, but just keeping me humble and keeping me okay. You haven't achieved anything really because you're still just playing in the youth levels and stuff like that. And obviously now when I look back on it, and I think what a great achievement it was. Obviously to become the first Asian heritage to captain the England side and stuff like that, and win the Euros of the 19s. But at the time you're just going through it, and you're just thinking, what's next? What Okay, I've done that now. How can I improve at club level? Okay, then I need to go out on loan and need to get into the first team, and so you enjoy it a little bit. But I think now when I look back and I think, okay, that was a big achievement.
Yeah, and how important was it playing in those international youth competitions, like you mentioned, the Under-17 World Cup, the Euros? How was that for your football development? How much did that help along the way?
Yeah, massive because you're playing against different styles of teams, different styles of because obviously every country has a different style of playing. Um, so you're without knowing it, you're adapting your game and you're improving your game. And I think at England with the FA and stuff like that, the amount of work that you do before games and studying the opposition and putting a game plan together, you're so much involved in everything. So you're learning so much. And I always looked at it at every camp like I'm going to be playing against the best strikers in training every day. So I wasn't just thinking about the games; I was thinking about the training sessions. Like, um, all right, how can I get the most out of, like, you normally away for a week, 10 days. So how can I get the most out of this? And that was that was in training as well.
And obviously you mentioned, and we all know that you played with some of the best youth players that England had to offer at that time, who are now obviously pro players playing for the English senior team. Like I know Trent Alexander-Arnold because I'm a Liverpool fan. I noticed that he likes a lot of your social media posts. So like, are you friends with him? Do you know Trent like personally, like well,
Yeah,
or what?
we played a lot in the youth levels together, and I was really close with him in the youth levels. Spent a lot of time together. Obviously now naturally you don't speak as much and stuff like that, but we you still follow each other's careers and everything like that. And yeah, with him, I think it was like what I noticed about him is just he was so competitive with everything. Even after training, you'd see after training always. It wasn't just him, but it was I think a lot of the players who played for Liverpool and Everton, the Scouse boys, they were like super competitive. If you're playing two touch, they're playing until like they've won a game. And I remember in like table tennis and stuff like that. So you see why they've achieved like what they're achieving.
And who else? Who were your other teammates? Like people who were now probably like, I don't know, at the top of the game. Like some strikers that you were attacking players that you came up against, that you had to challenge, that you had to be on your game in training, for example, like you mentioned.
Yeah, so there were quite a few I've seen in our team. There was like Mason Mount, goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale at Arsenal now, like Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, like you mentioned. So there was loads. It was like the team was filled with all these players now who are playing like at the top level.
Yeah, and can you like, is there a visible difference between players at that age? Can you tell, or was there like a general acceptance within the squad that XYZ is gonna be a top player, or for example, or is that too early to make those calls?
Uh, well, sort of around that time, you were seeing some players getting involved in their first teams. For example, like at 17, 18, Trent Alexander-Arnold was going away with like Liverpool first team, so it's like it's a big deal. So then you sort of see other players, okay, they're going away with their first teams, they're starting to train with them, they made the debut. And that's like at 16, 17, 18. So you do sort of see it, but as like you say, it's still a bit early as well until you've played a lot of games.
And any particular coaches that you had throughout your youth career, whether Aston Villa or England, that had an impact on you, that like you still remember?
Yeah, I had quite a few at Villa, which were like really good for me. There was one Ben Petty. He's at Leicester now. He was there from under nines up until like under 18s. And then we had Tony McAndrew and Kevin McDonald for under 23s who were really tough and like got the most out of you. So yeah, there was loads of coaches who obviously with England as well. There's quite a few coaches who help you and develop you in different ways.
And like you mentioned, like one of them, like they were tough to you, right? And they got the best out of you. What kind of management style do you think works best on you? Like, is it an arm around the shoulder? Is it like someone being tough on you and you forcing you to prove yourself? Like, what works for you? What do you respond to the most? Do you, if you would think about it?
Mm, I'm not sure to be honest. I think that worked quite well just for the under 18s and under 23s at Aston Villa. That they were really tough and every day you knew you had to be like training to the best level because the coach is like it was like a situation where even if you're doing gym work and they're walking past you, you're making sure that you're not resting. You're actually doing the work. So um, yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think
I got
I
it.
respond to both. I think I respond to both ways.
And then, like, why center back? Like, for example, a lot of players play different positions in youth football. Like, for example, Ederson, the Man City goalkeeper, was a midfielder, apparently. A lot of center backs that you see initially started off as strikers. I remember, I think maybe Rio Ferdinand or someone was a striker, then they became a center back. Was it always this position for you, or did it evolve over time? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, it was pretty much centre back. I started off in centre midfield when I first went to Villa, and I played a couple of years there. But then, um, yes, I spent most of my time at centre back, and that's where I've always played.
And how was your experience in Portugal? Like, I think you played for like 2, 3 clubs over there. You made the switch to Victoria SC, if I'm not wrong, and then you did a couple of loan spells. How was that? Like, how is Portuguese football different from, say, England's football?
Yeah, so I was in like the last 6 months of my contract at Aston Villa, and I wasn't really around the first team, and they'd signed like a lot of players, so I knew that I wasn't going to have a contract extension or anything like that. So I needed to find my next move, and then this opportunity for to go to Portugal, to go to Vitoria came up, and yeah, I just took it. It was like, yeah, a perfect opportunity for me, like the style of football and the type of player that I am just suited me. So I went there
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by style football, and how did that help you?
because I went on a couple of loans when I was in at Aston Villa. I went to League Two a couple of times, and the clubs probably weren't right for me, or I wasn't right for that type of play in terms of it was a bit too physical, or the I wanted
Not too
to
much
play.
on the ball on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I got the chance to go to Portugal, that was perfect in terms of like, okay, they wanted to play out from the back. They wanted to the centre backs to have the ball. You didn't have to be 6'4" and just head it and kick it. You had to be sort of be able to step in and play. Um, so yeah, I went there at the beginning of 2020. So I was there a couple of months, and then COVID happened. Um, so then yeah, I was at home for a month or so, and then we finished off that season. And then I spent another year in Guimarães, and then I went out for the last couple of years. I went out on loan in the second division in Portugal, and now yeah in Azerbaijan.
And the switch to Azerbaijan, why Azerbaijan? I was thinking of asking you that, like, why specifically Azerbaijan? Was there a reason?
I think during the summer, like obviously I'd already spent 3 years in Portugal now, and I played a good portion of last season, so I had a couple of options in Portugal and in other places, and then this obviously opportunity here in Azerbaijan. And once I spoke to the manager and just spoke to the club and a couple of players who'd previously played here, I was just excited about a new challenge. Um, I think the most important thing was how much the manager wanted me. So it was like that's like a big thing for players when you go in somewhere and you know you want it and you know you're going to play games. Um, so yeah, it was just a new challenge for me that I wanted to take, and I'm glad that I've done it. It's going well now at the moment, so just trying to keep it going. Obviously, it's still only early and on in the season, so you just need.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, yeah. I've been following on social media, and you scored a goal already, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
So that was pretty good. Good
yeah,
start.
yeah, yeah. That was
Anyway, yeah. Sorry, you were saying something.
no, a good moment for me. Obviously, it was my first professional goal in professional career, so that was obviously a good moment to get that. Hopefully, I can try and get a
Yeah,
few.
hopefully the next one for Pakistan, which is a good segue because I want to talk to you about playing for Pakistan, and how has the reception or reaction been ever since, the word got out that you are going to represent Pakistan?
It's been crazy. I didn't expect there to be that much support or fans and that much interest in football. Obviously, cricket's the main sport, but since obviously I even since there was sort of noise around me potentially coming and potentially start playing, I just received so many messages of support. And then obviously once we went to India and once we went to Mauritius and played the games, like it's just been the support has been unbelievable. Obviously, even despite the results, I personally haven't received like one negative message or anything like that. It's all just been support and love from all of the fans.
And what is the feeling of playing for Pakistan? I know you've represented England at the youth levels, but at a senior level, how has it been when you wore that Pakistani shirt and went out, especially like, for example, in India against India? I mean, that's an experience that, you know every Pakistani I know knows it's special. So how has the whole thing been like?
Yeah, I think specifically like that game was unbelievable. Obviously, regardless of the result and the traveling and everything like that. But just that experience going to India, playing in India against India with all the fans against you and stuff like that. That was like something that's one of the reasons why I decided to play Pakistan, because I wanted to have experiences like that. And sort of one of my main goals for that sort of camp was, right, if you can get a result or just one result to give something back to the fans for their support and everything like that. And I think it would have been perfect. But it wasn't meant to be, and inshallah we can put that right in the next camps and the next games.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking. That one way to get more of those experiences for you and also for us to get to see you and the team is that if we win the upcoming World Cup qualifier, so that we have like more matches in the coming years. How has the preparation, been like? Obviously, you have been busy with your club, obviously, and now the under 23 team is playing. A lot of players are playing there, but just like from a from a perspective of the squad or the message from the coach and how everyone is just geared into this match or this tie. What do you think? How is the mindset there?
To be honest, it's difficult. I would love to say that we've prepared so much and
Yeah,
we're
obviously the preparation isn't
work and
optimal at all. Yeah.
yeah, we've played friendlies and stuff like that. To be honest, the only camp that we've had was the camp in May, which was the SAF Cup, which was the first time of us playing together. But since then, obviously, I know the under 23s have had their qualifiers now. I think they're playing tonight.
Yeah, the match has started already.
So of course it's difficult, but that's one of the things that obviously if we want to take it serious and we want to take it serious to grow as a national team and grow as a football in Pakistan, then these things need to be. There's a lot of things that need to change. Obviously, I'm not in a position to say too much because
Yeah,
of
of course.
I don't really know how it works and who's in charge and who organizes stuff. But I think definitely a lot needs to change and a lot needs to be done differently to give us the best opportunity. I think it was a great step that we took in terms of getting a lot of players with more experience in different leagues and getting us to come and play. I think that was a massive step. It was a great step, and something that hopefully will be a benefit. But yeah, just in terms of the other things, organisation and preparation, and giving us just the best opportunity, that can be better. So hopefully, like you say, if we can win these games next month, then we have sort of the next couple of years to sort of build on that.
Yeah, no, sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot at all. What I meant was that how is the mindset like within the team when you're thinking about this match, or what is the sort of what is the message going around the team with one another, that how do we approach this? Obviously the preparations and everything, that's out of your control. You obviously can't say much. You don't even, the players aren't supposed to be talking about these things anyway, because you just need to focus on the football. So yeah, sorry, I didn't
Oh
like
no,
want you to
no,
talk
no.
about
But I think to be
mention
honest,
about that.
yeah, for us as players, obviously I'm in a group with the players, with Otis, with Haroon, with Rahis, and we're all excited. I think we realise how good of an opportunity it is to be drawn against Cambodia, who we should have a chance against. We've played together now, so we're looking forward to it. We can't wait. That's all we've been talking about for the last few weeks now.
Yeah, I think that's all that we've been waiting for. Like generally, Pakistani football fans, we can't wait because unfortunately, I think we're the only member association in Asian football that has not won a World Cup qualifying match at all. Like not even one. We're the
Mm.
only one that has not won a single World Cup qualifying match, which is honestly unbelievable. But we
Yeah,
really hope that we can
yeah,
put this right.
of
No
course.
pressure though, eh? No pressure.
Oh no, of course. But that's again what I mentioned before. Like we know that this is probably one of our best opportunities with the players that we've got together, with the opposition that we have. We would have loved to have a bit more preparation, a bit more sort of okay, get together, have a talk about it instead of just turning up next month and sort of hoping for the best. Obviously, as we're all going to be, we're all trying to be prepared as best we can, and yeah, we'll go on. We'll obviously give it our best shot, and inshallah we can get through it.
Inshallah, we're all rooting for you. We're all praying for all of you. What are your future plans? Like generally in your generally back to your career for a bit. Like you're playing in the Azerbaijan league now. Obviously, you're also representing Pakistan. Have you thought about like where you want your career to go, or how you're gonna think, or which trajectory it should ideally take for you?
I think now it's just about establishing myself here, establishing myself in this team in Azerbaijan, and sort of trying to have a really strong season. and then I think it can open doors for me, inshallah, for the future. So that's in terms of club wise. I'm not looking too far ahead of where I am right now. I'm just enjoying now while I've been in the team, playing regular. So yeah, just trying to stay fit, putting in performances, and play as many games this season as possible, and then see where I am at the end of the season, what options I have, and stuff like that. And yeah, in terms of international level, I think we can't look past next month. That's the goal now. So um, we're just excited for that.
And lastly, I don't want to take up more of your time. Do you have a message to Pakistani football fans watching? Like, do you want to say something? The floor is yours if you would like to say anything to them.
No, just thank you for all the support. Obviously, the personal support that I've received is incredible. I know that they're watching even my games here. They're all watching and always sending me messages, and they're quite active on social media. So which is nice. I think it would be nice to be able to play in Pakistan. I don't know what the situation is for next month's home leg. I don't know where we're up to with that, but it would be if it doesn't happen next month, then it would be amazing to be able to have a fixture, even if it's a friendly fixture, just to be able to go over there and play. I'm sure we'd have a full stadium wherever we play. So and what an incredible experience it would be for all of us to be able to play in front of them. So
Absolutely, man. I mean, I wish whenever you guys play, I am in Pakistan at that time, so I can also get to see you. It would be a shame if finally a match happens and I'm not there for it. But yeah, let's first get the match together, and then I can worry about where I am. But anyway, we're all definitely, obviously, rooting for you and the team, and not just for next month, obviously, but also that all of you and you have a great club career and go on to achieve everything that you want to achieve. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I've had a lot of fun talking to you, and yeah, I'm just really glad that you came on the show.
yeah, no, I appreciate it anytime.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Easah Suliman. It has been absolutely great talking to him. I hope you like this episode. Do follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stick out for more football content. We're going to cover the Pakistani World Cup football qualifier. We're going to cover the Under-19 SAF Championship, the women's team. We're covering it all. Stay tuned. Keep supporting us. And until next time, take it easy.